everyone! Today we are doing an experiment. Why, you ask? I had a craving for tiramisu, but I can't eat tiramisu. I can't have any dairy and I really miss it. The funny thing about this is I didn't plan on making a video about it until I realized what lengths I was prepared to go to find the perfect non-dairy tiramisu. How can you choose just one recipe? How do you know it will be good? How do you know the recipe you choose will be the one that will satisfy the cravings monster? So what's the plan, you ask? So I went online and found 4 different mascarpone cheese recipes from 4 different blogs. And a recipe for normal tiramisu from the New York Times, which I'm going to refer to as my base recipe. So the plan is we're going to make them all. I chose the 4 non-dairy ones because they seem different enough that the taste should differ, I hope. So the only thing I'm going to change about each of the 5 finished tiramisus is the mascarpone cheese. At the end of the video, my husband's going to be doing a blind taste test where he won't know which one is the dairy tiramisu and which ones are the non-dairy tiramisus. So A, I want him to guess which one has the dairy out of the 5 choices. And B, once I tell him or he guesses which one has dairy, I want him to then tell me and tell you guys which one he thinks is the closest. So the first thing I did was to make the 4 non-dairy mascarpones. I'll spare you watching me blend a lot of cashews and other ingredients together again and again and again. If anyone is interested, all of these recipes are linked in the description below. Alright, so these are our non-dairy mascarpones, and this is our dairy one. As you can see, all the recipes turned out a little different. There are some pros and cons that I'm noticing right now. The biggest con is that this one right here, I believe, oh yeah, that one. They had you put it in a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and that I feel is all I can taste in it. So that's gonna be it's gonna make a very interesting tiramisu. I'm not telling my husband that's in there. We'll just see if he notices it in the final product. So the first one we have here is by the blog One Green Planet. It has 1.5 cups of raw cashews, a half a cup of coconut cream, the juice of 1 lemon, which I figured was 2 tablespoons because I didn't buy lemon and juice it, so I just kind of guessed, and then a pinch of salt. This is one of the ones that it is only replicating this. It is not replicating a final, mascarpone as it would be when you layer it into the tiramisu. So this one here by One Green Planet, let me take a taste for you guys. It's very cashewy. There's not a lot of, it really doesn't have much taste besides cashew. There's a little, when you first put it on your tongue, it tastes a little bit like, get like a tart. So it could be lemon, it could be salt impacting the flavor there. But overall, decent. Alright, so number 2 here is by Loving a Vegan. There is 1 3/4 cup of cashew, a half a cup of maple syrup, a 1/3 cup of coconut oil, melted, a 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of vanilla, and a half cup of almond milk. So of course this one, because it's got sugar and stuff, it's going to taste vastly different from our first one. So I'm going to give this one a taste and kind of give you guys my first impressions on it. You definitely get the taste of the maple straight away. It's got a light flavor, so you can't really taste the cashews as much. I'm getting more of the coconut in this one and definitely more of the maple, and maybe even more of the vanilla. Now that I'm thinking about it, vanilla might have had a play in this one, much more. So my top 3, definitely maple, hints of vanilla, hints of coconut. I can't really tell which one I'm tasting. So let's go on to number 3. I already said this one here. This one's by Very Vegan Val. They wanted me, or she wanted me, Val wanted me, to put a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in there, which is why I chose this one, because I was like, apple cider vinegar, there's no way you're going to be able to disguise the flavor, and you can't. I'm interested to see what it's going to taste like in a tiramisu, which is part of the reason I wanted to try it so bad. Let me take another taste so I can really break it down for you guys. The flavor overall isn't bad. If you remove, it's gonna sound like so weird. If you remove the apple cider vinegar, it's not bad. It almost is sweet. And I think that sweetness is coming in. There was a tablespoon of agave nectar added in. I guess this one is finished. It makes me sad that it's finished because It's gonna be an interesting flavored tiramisu. Let me put that straight. I'm interested to see my husband's face when he tastes this one because it's just apple cider vinegar. That's all I'm tasting. Alright, so in this one there is 1 cup of cashews, 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, 2 tablespoons of lemon, 1 tablespoon apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon agave, and 1 tablespoon of water. Alright, and so our fourth one over here, this is by Tasty. I feel like Tasty just kind of did a combine everything except for the apple cider vinegar from all of these into this one, and maybe we'll be safe. I'm interested to taste what it's like in a tiramisu and here, because I haven't tasted it yet. So I'm really interested to see if maybe they're onto something. Maybe you just throw all of these together minus apple cider vinegar and you've got a thing. There is 1.5 cups of cashews, 1/2 cup of unsweetened almond milk, 1/3 of a cup of maple syrup, 1/3 of a cup of coconut oil melted, 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 teaspoon of lemon, 25 ounces coconut milk chilled, and 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar. Alright, so let me take a taste of the Tasty one and give my impressions on it. It's definitely good tasting. It's a little chunky. The texture's off, and I don't know if that was me or them. I mean, it could be my blender, it could be the fact that I had all that coconut milk and it was chilled, and maybe it'll balance out. Because I think it's the coconut milk I'm seeing in here. I don't think it's the cashews. They seem pretty well ground. It's very tasty though, I have to say. They did a good job with it. It's very light. I can't taste the cashews. It doesn't really have any highlighted flavors. There's no apple cider vinegar or advanced cashew taste or anything like that. Let me take another taste. Definitely getting maple syrup and vanilla. So we come on to our fifth one, which is real mascarpone cheese. I can't really eat this, but I will for you guys, so if I feel sick later, it's all for science. Let me take a little taste of that. The texture, in case the people who are watching, you guys, haven't had mascarpone cheese before, the mouth feel of it is very much like a cream cheese, but it tastes more like a ricotta. So none of them, and I think all 3 of these were sweetened and this one was not. This one, I guess, would be the closest since it's not sweetened. It does not taste anything like this one. So we'll see once all these 3 are sweetened. We'll see once this one's sweetened and this one's sweetened and we add them all into a tiramisu. What goes on? Alright, so from this point forward we are following the New York Times recipe for tiramisu. I've got to make this one and this one sugar and egged and into an actual mascarpone layer. These 3 are okay, I believe, but as they are, I'm not going to touch them going forward. They are a layer as they are. So I'm going to mix these guys up and get them all in the same field, and then we can start assembling. So I ran into a problem when I tried to mix the vegan mascarpone up like a traditional mascarpone. It got soupy because I couldn't use whipped cream. I used oat milk instead and tried to thicken it with cornstarch. Then I tried to whip it on a prayer that it might thicken, but no, still soupy. So back to the drawing board I went. I used the One Green Planet recipe minus the coconut milk, and I used 1/3 of a cup of oat milk just to get to blend to start. I'm gonna try my first aquafaba experiment. So here's my can of chickpeas, and here's my 1/2 cup of liquid. I have not researched this, just so you guys know. I'm kind of winging it just because the first attempt of this turned out really liquidy. I just know it's going to taste soupy. It's going to be a very soupy tiramisu, and I'm not about that. So this is my backup. So I guess we're making 6 tiramisus now. Alright, so it looks like it did make meringue. It's good to me. Didn't fall out. So my next step, since this it's looking good, and I mixed a can of the cream of the coconut into this, I'm going to whip these 2 together really gently and see if I can get it to be a little bit better. So it's still pretty soupy, but let's take a taste test. I definitely like the taste of this one better than the other one that is off the same recipe. Alright, so now I'm going to speed assemble some tiramisu so we can get to tasting. today, and all the tiramisus are chilled and ready for tasting. And this is my husband, so he's going to be tasting the tiramisus. Alright, so we have 2 questions which he has to answer today. We're going to take a taste of each one, and he's going to say which one he thinks is the dairy one. You guys already know because you guys have the little titles on them. So, but we get to watch him guess. And then after, if he guesses which one is dairy or isn't dairy, and depending on if he's right or wrong, we can either tell him. And then we're going to have him guess which one is the closest to the dairy, or which one he likes more, if none of them taste closest to the dairy one, which is possible. Number 1.
How big of a scoop would you have him take?
Just like a normal size scoop. Make sure you get, like, it's important to get all the parts to it.
Okay, so like all the way through, like that.
Yeah, like that way you've got the cream and the ladyfinger and everything.
That tastes like it has oat milk in it.
Okay.
Not dairy.
Not dairy?
That's my assessment.
Okay.
Alright, next one?
Next one. Oh, that's a big bite. Go for it.
Tastes good. I'm going to go with also not dairy.
Also not dairy. Okay. But tastes good, right?
Yes,
okay.
oh, they all taste good.
Okay.
It's hard to get a good scoop.
Well, as long as you get some of the ladyfingers. Yeah. There's 2 different layers of ladyfingers, so you don't have to go super deep.
Not bad.
That's good. Large.
I mean, they're all going to be big.
You're good.
Not sure. Not sure.
Not sure?
Tastes good. I'm not
Okay.
sure, though. I'll have to come to a conclusion a little bit later.
Look your lips.
Okay. Oh, this is very thick.
Ooh.
Has it got everything in it?
Yep.
Okay.
Looks like it's good. Thoughts?
That's not dairy, but it's delicious.
Okay.
I feel like get like a very cheesy taste on that one. And it's good. It's very good.
Okay.
Although I guess it could be dairy. Oh, undecided.
Okay.
That's got the richest flavor of them all so far.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Let's see. It's also the thickest, I could tell. Sorry, I feel like I'm... That one tastes the most like a traditional tiramisu that I had at restaurants. Alright.
Okay.
And last one. Oh, come here. We got a big bite for the last one. Not dairy.
Not dairy.
That one's not dairy. It's one of these 2.
Okay.
I think. If I have to guess, I'm going to say that one.
Okay.
Is the dairy one.
You are correct.
Yes!
We have a winner!
Yes!
The funniest thing is, I really thought, so when I was tasting them, when I made all the little mascarpones, this is the one that I hated. So
really?
I'm actually really curious. Let me take a bite of this one, because I haven't tasted it in its entirety. But this is the mascarpone cheese with the, or the fake mascarpone with the apple cider vinegar in it. And it tasted ridiculous.
Okay. That's why there's such a strong flavor to it. Really?
Oh no. No, that's apple cider vinegar. It's still...
Really?
How did you think that tastes good? It's just all apple cider vinegar.
It's got bite. It's got bite, which kind of makes it taste like it's a very strong cheese.
Gotcha.
But I think that's like, now that you told me what it is, I can taste it's apple cider vinegar. When I was initially just testing it, I thought it was just a very strong cheese flavor.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I really thought you were going to take one bite of that one and go, bleh!
No.
I had to stop myself and going,
I'd say, I mean, I don't know, like I like that one. Of all the ones that you have that are not dairy, I like that one the best.
Okay.
Maybe I'm just weird.
I mean,
but I feel like the apple cider vinegar really added, like I said, it added a lot of bite to it. It made it taste like a very strong cheese. But
your reasoning is sound there. I just never would have guessed it, honestly, because... And that's why, I mean, everyone, this is all subjective. Yeah. This is only our opinions on this because everyone tastes things a little differently. As you just saw, me and my husband have very different palates when it comes to certain things. Now, he's not wrong. Because of the apple cider vinegar, it is going to have more of a bite in it. Which, and now that I taste it all together, it makes sense. like it does taste pretty close to a regular one. Not exact at all, but because of that bite, it gives something that the rest of these don't have. Alright, that's our video. Thanks for watching. Socials right here. Follow me on Instagram. Also subscribe, like the video, all that nonsense. You know what to do. Ring the bell once you've subscribed. That way you never miss an upload. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye!